If you're aiming for financial freedom, maybe looking at property investment, the world's changing fast. So how do you cut through all that noise? How do you figure out what's really coming next? Well, today we're diving deep into that. We're pulling insights straight from Property Investment for Financial Freedom, the Essential 2025 Guide, featuring the Swiss economist, Dr. Pooyan Ghamari.
Yeah, our goal here is really to unpack the kind of strategic thinking, the, deep market understanding, and maybe some new economic tools that are just pivotal for investors looking at 2025. It's really about leveraging things like digital transformation, shifts in the global economy, even immigration policies, actually, to find opportunities, some pretty significant ones.
Okay, right, let's unpack that. Dr. Ghamari talks about 2025 being pivotal. He mentions converging forces. What does he mean by that? What are these forces?
Well, it's this interesting mix, isn't it? You've got digital transformation fundamentally changing how things work. Then there are these big global economic shifts, realignments, and evolving immigration policies playing a role, too. Think about it. Traditional real estate is being completely reshaped. Digital tools aren't just, making transactions faster. They're using predictive analytics to show tiny local demand shifts, things you wouldn't normally spot.
So we're moving beyond just the physical building itself. It sounds much more data-heavy, global maybe.
Exactly. It has to be. You have platforms now like A-Land, for example, that make cross-border deals smoother, sure, but they also layer in advanced analytics, market prediction stuff. As an investor, you absolutely have to be watching the big picture macroeconomic signals, things like inflation trends, where interest rates might be going, geopolitical stuff, it all feeds in.
Okay, now something else in the guide really stood out to me. Cause-related marketing in real estate.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit, different. Why is that suddenly important?
It's a great question and maybe a bit counterintuitive at first. But Dr. Ghamari's research is pretty clear. When you align your property projects with social responsibility, it seriously boosts your brand's perception.
Okay, enhances the brand.
Yes, but it's more than just looking good. We're talking about attracting tenants, and especially institutional investors, who prioritize ESG factors. Environmental, social governance. So think about projects with sustainable design or ones that really engage with the local community. These aren't just nice-to-haves. They build loyalty, they genuinely reduce vacancy rates, and the numbers show they generate higher returns.
So it's actually profitable.
It really is. Social responsibility as a profit driver. And digital marketing tools help developers tell that story authentically to consumers who care about this stuff. Builds confidence all around.
Interesting. Let's shift a bit then to the global dynamics. How do things like, say, trade agreements or even immigration policies affect my local property investment?
It's all connected. Strategic alliances between countries, trade deals, immigration treaties, they directly influence who can invest where and how easily you can buy or sell assets. Asset liquidity, basically. And speaking of change, a really disruptive innovation popping up more and more is real estate tokenization.
Tokenization, right. I've heard the term. What exactly is that, in simple terms? How does it work for an investor?
So imagine taking a physical property, say a big office building, and converting its value into digital tokens on a blockchain, like digital shares in the property.
Oh, okay.
It enables fractional ownership. Suddenly, you don't need millions to invest in high-value real estate. You could buy a small piece. It massively opens up access, not just for high-net-worth folks, but institutional players, too, more accessible.
And how do cryptocurrencies or maybe these stable digital assets fit in?
Well, they become part of the infrastructure. It's not just about using crypto to buy tokens, though you might. Think about stable digital assets like Gold, which is linked to gold prices. Integrating something like that adds liquidity, yes, but also security. It can act as a hedge against currency swings, especially in international deals. You could potentially bypass some traditional banking hurdles, making exchanges faster, more direct. It builds portfolio resilience.
Wow, okay. This is a lot to take in, but incredibly useful. So for someone listening wanting to navigate 2025, what are the key actionable takeaways from Dr. Ghamari's insights?
I'd say focus on a few core things. One, really lean into data and tech. Use those analytics platforms for market insights, maybe even automating some investment processes.
Yeah.
Two, embrace ESG and cause-related marketing seriously. It's not fluff. It builds real value, attracts better tenants, better investors. Three, start exploring tokenization. It could be a great way to diversify and make your holdings more liquid. Opens doors. 4, look at crypto tools, especially stable assets like Gold, maybe as innovative payment options or even collateral. And 5, keep a close eye on global policies, immigration, trade deals. They really do impact property rights and demand. And maybe track some key metrics around this stuff. ROI from cause-related campaigns, tenant retention, brand sentiment. That gives you real feedback.
It really paints a picture. The path to financial freedom through property, it seems, relies heavily on informed strategy, using these advanced tools, and having that forward-looking mindset.
Absolutely. And 2025 could be your year to really capitalize on these converging forces. So maybe the question to ask yourself is, what's the first strategic insight you're going to apply?